Hello and welcome. In this video, we'd like to quickly demonstrate the planning functionalities in ClearJelly. Let's start by creating our data entry sheet. This is done in the same way as any other ClearJelly report. We just start by setting up the dimensions that we want to use in our entry sheet. We choose the model, so in our case, let's assume we want to look at sales planning, and we want to create an initial data sheet that shows our products against periods. So let's start with this initial view. So initially we see here the product of the sample system, and we see the periods, and they go down to months. Let's go to a particular area where we have some data. So let's switch to the year 2015 and look at the invoiced amount. So we see here those are the numbers from 2015, so we have $46,000 for the entire year. The typical budgeting process starts often with the prior year numbers. So let's assume we want to use these numbers as the basis for our new budget. So we switch to 2016. So here we have now, of course, no numbers, but now we can start using the ClearJelly functionality. And this works always in two ways. You can either type the command directly into the cell, or you can use a wizard. Let's assume for this first time we want to use the wizard. So we choose here planning, and we want to copy, data from 2015 into our new model. So this was the initial step. We've got now the 2015 data in there, but of course this has happened across the entire model. So if we go down to a particular client, we will see their numbers. In this case there's not too many here. So let's go to a customer number. There's a few numbers already here. So the entire model for this particular period was copied. And now let's go back to the top. Let's say our management has given us a target of a 20% increase. So again, we can use either the wizard or type it in. So in this case, I type it in. So I just use an increase of, let's say, 20%. So now we've applied this increase again on the entire model. So this was applied throughout the lowest details. If we go to a particular client, we can exactly see what their numbers are. So this is the so-called top-down approach, where we change numbers on a top level that gets spread it down to detailed levels. Let's do the same thing, but on a little bit lower level. So let's say we know in January there will be a big marketing campaign that will, as opposed to the previous year, generate some income. Let's say we assume here revenues of around 10,000. So as you can see, this was now evenly split again down to the lowest level. In case we use a number where there's already data available, let's say for example we assume in February, because of this marketing campaigns, the revenues will be a bit lower. So here we will now only have 4,500. We can just add this here, and now we have the 4,500 that has been broken down, but in this case based on the existing distribution. Everything else automatically updates, so we can now immediately see the total income for 2016 will be $39,000. So in this way, we could go down to a very detailed level. We could now assume we want to go down to a particular client for a particular payment type, and a particular region. So in region North, they didn't do too much in January for this product, but let's say we're now down to the absolutely lowest level, but let's say here we now assume a revenue of 500. And again, that automatically reflects through. This is now one aspect. The other aspect is the simulation and the modeling. So let's assume we are planning to introduce a new product. So we just go into the model, go into the items, and let's say we want to add a new item here, which is called clear jelly. That should be part of the total, so we add that to the total as well. We could also set up different subgroups if we want to, but let's for the moment assume this is just in total. Close this down. If we now refresh this, our report, we will now see that our new product is there, and we can again immediately start planning. Let's put in a big number here, so we have a revenue of 10,000. Again, immediately if we go up to the top now to all customers, we will now exactly see, maybe let's change the region as well to the total of all regions, and we go to the total here as well. We now see we have a total revenue now according to this budget of $49,567. This entry was now done in Excel, but if we want to, we could use exactly the same data entry sheet in a spreadsheet. So I'll just publish this. I just have to give it a name before that. Let's say we want to call this planning. And now this sheet is available. Let's have a look what this looks like. So I switch now to the web browser. The sheet that we've just published on the web is now immediately available here as a report. So we're now loading this. Now we see exactly the same report that we had before, that we designed from the Excel integration. We can now switch and have all the functionalities available that you're familiar with from the Excel integration, but it's all now on the web. And of course, as a user, I don't need to have any additional software installed apart from the web browser. And now we've got exactly the same options that I've demonstrated before in Excel. So let's say, for example, we want to change this value here to 16,000. We can just specify now we want to change this to 16,000. The new value is automatically there and everything has followed through. So in summary, a very effective way to implement your budgeting process. You can enter data on any level of the model, in a very high detail, or on the top level. You can use relative changes, you can choose how you want to allocate your data. All this works in the Excel environment.